by Mathew Klark. Now available on Amazon Kindle and Paperback.
Prologue. The hot humidity in the quiet Houston suburb was a living thing. It had weight. It had presence. On nights like this, you could feel it pressing against your skin, a damp, invisible palm print. The air, thick as soup, refused to move, and the oak trees that lined the street stood like silent, sweating giants. It was the kind of stillness that felt less like peace and more like a held breath. The whole world was waiting for something to break. Ashley pushed through the front door, the cool of the AC a small mercy. In the living room, the blue-white flicker of the TV cast long shadows. Her grandpa, Donnie, sat in his worn recliner, eyes glued to the NASCAR race. "Hey, Grandpa," Ashley said, dropping her keys in the bowl by the door. He grunted a hello without looking away. "Hi, my girl. Did you have a good day?" "It was good, but I have Mr. Davis's final tomorrow, so I have to study for that." She leaned over the back of his chair, glancing at the screen. "Is your driver doing all right?" "He's doing all right," Donnie grumbled, even though his damn pit crew is moving slow. Ashley giggled. "Good luck, Grandpa. I'm going to go check on Grandma." "All right. See you later," he said, already lost in the roar of the engines again. As she walked into the kitchen, the real prize hit her. Grandma Joyce's cookies. A buttery, almost obscenely sweet aroma that coated the back of her throat. Smells good, Grandma," she said. Her eyes went right to the mixing bowl, a yellow plastic thing that was probably older than she was, still smeared with sticky dough. "Whatever you do, don't wash that bowl. It has my name on it. I so want some of that cookie dough." Her Grandma Joyce let out a soft giggle as she turned from the oven, the lines around her eyes crinkling into a familiar roadmap of smiles. "You got it, Sweet Pea." Tonight's outfit was something else. A faded yellow tank top that looked like it had seen every summer since Nixon resigned, paired with a pair of startlingly purple pants. Her gray hair was a curly, chaotic halo, but her eyes were a sharp, shocking green. They missed nothing. A smirk found Ashley's lips. It was their game. "Grandma, you're quite the fashion icon tonight. Are you going for live-action Easter egg?" A giggle, bright and girlish, escaped Joyce's lips. "You little shit. You are one to talk with that hot pink hair of yours." "Touché," Ashley said, already moving toward the stairs, her hair a violent electric pink waterfall against her back. "Catch you later, Grams." Upstairs, the only light in her room was the pale, ghostly glow of her laptop. She sat hunched over it, the phone pressed to her ear, the light painting her light tan skin in shades of blue and white. Her own green eyes, a shade lighter than her grandma's, seemed to drink in the light. "He's great, you know," she was saying, her voice full of a bubbly, supportive energy. "Funny, nice to look at. I get why you're so into him. He's really interesting." A hesitant, tinny voice mumbled something through the phone's speaker. "No, seriously," Ashley insisted, leaning in as if sharing a state secret. "He actually listens. He remembers things you say, tiny details, and he's got that way of making you feel like you're the only person in the room when he talks to you. That's a rare thing. It means he's got depth." There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Look," Ashley said, her tone softening. "You two are practically inseparable already. Everyone sees it. You just have to take that leap. It's better than wondering, right?" She glanced at her screen, at the endless scrolling feed of other people's lives. She was about to type a reply to some dumb comment when the screen did something wrong. It wasn't a pop-up. Pop-ups were annoying. This was invasive. This was a violation. The screen didn't just flicker, it convulsed. It went dead black for a heartbeat, a blackness so absolute it felt like a hole had been punched through reality. Then, the text appeared. White, stark, and brutally pixelated, like something from a nightmare version of an old DOS game. Ashley physically flinched, leaning back as if the words themselves could burn her. "Do you value your life? Is your life worth a penny? If it is, then grab and squeeze a penny. Say out loud, 'I value my life.' If you do not, your life will cease to exist and be like it never happened." Her brain stalled. For a moment she just stared, the words refusing to arrange themselves into anything sensible. "What the hell?" she whispered. A nervous, choked laugh bubbled in her throat. This was a joke, a hack. She tried to move the mouse, to click the little red X that wasn't there. The cursor was frozen. The text remained, malevolent and unblinking. "Wow, what a dumbass joke. Seriously, this is next level spam. And a penny? Who even carries pennies anymore?" She was talking to the empty room, trying to fill the sudden, ringing silence with the sound of her own voice. The words were a shield. "I don't have a penny, so I guess I won't be doing this." She rolled her eyes, a gesture that felt flimsy, a paper-thin defense against the cold dread that was beginning to coil in her stomach. The last word, "this," hung in the air, and in the space of a single silent heartbeat, her laptop screen snapped off. Not a fade to black, but a sudden, violent severance. At the exact same instant, her phone call ended with a dry, electronic click. Silence crashed down on her. A new kind of silence. Heavy. Watchful. "Hello? Hello?" Her voice sounded small, thin. She shook the phone. Nothing. A dead black rectangle. "Hello?" she said again, louder this time. The only answer was the thrumming of her own blood in her ears. Both dead, at the exact same instant. A coincidence? "It has to be a virus," she whispered to the empty room, the words feeling thin and hollow. "Some new, nasty malware that just bricks everything." That was the logical explanation. But even as she said it, a deep, primitive part of her brain screamed that she was wrong. Viruses have error messages. Glitches. They don't operate with the clean, silent finality of a switch being flipped. This didn't feel like a glitch. This felt like a consequence, a shiver cold and sharp, cold and traced a path up her spine like the legs of an unseen insect. She stood up. Her black spaghetti tank top and denim shorts suddenly felt like nothing, offering no protection. Her room, her sanctuary, now felt like an unfamiliar stage. She walked on bare feet to the attached bathroom, the cool tile a shock to her system. The fluorescent light over the sink hummed and flickered, casting jumping, monstrous shadows on her face in the mirror. She looked gaunt, frightened. She turned the shower knob, and the hiss of water was a roaring, welcome intrusion into the awful quiet. Steam began to cloud the mirror, and for a moment, she was grateful to see her own reflection disappear. She needed to wash this feeling away. She peeled off her tank top, the world going dark for the brief moment the fabric passed over her head. As she pulled it free, her eyes adjusting, she thought she saw it. A flicker in the steam-fogged mirror, something dark moving at the very edge of her vision. She spun around, heart hammering, but there was nothing, only the steam, swirling like captured ghosts. She let out a shaky breath she didn't realize she was holding. Her eyes were just playing tricks on her. The creepy message was getting to her. Her hands went behind her to her bra clasp. It came undone. She slipped one strap from her shoulder, then the other, letting it fall to join the shirt on the floor. Her hands went to the button of her shorts, but she hesitated. Forcing a steadying breath, she finally unbuttoned them. The rasp of the zipper sounded deafeningly loud in the quiet room. She pushed the denim down over her hips, the silk trim of her underwear sliding against her skin as it went. The clothes caught at her ankles, and she bent over to pull them free. She was just starting to straighten up when it happened. A sudden, shocking coldness traced a line up her spine. It wasn't just a chill. It was a distinct, deliberate feeling, like an icy finger drawing a path on her now completely bare skin. Her breath hitched. She jolted fully upright, spinning around with a strangled gasp. Nothing. The room was empty. The door was closed. There was absolutely nothing there. "A draft," she whispered, the words a desperate prayer. She wrapped her arms around herself, rubbing her skin where she'd felt the touch, as if to wipe away a stain. It was just a cold draft from under the door. She stood naked, trembling now, goosebumps prickling her skin for a reason that had nothing to do with the temperature. The feeling of being watched was no longer a feeling. It was a certainty, and it was in the room with her. She stepped into the shower, into the cleansing heat. She squeezed a dollop of shampoo into her hand, a small, desperate act of normalcy. Downstairs, she could faintly hear the drone of the TV, the roar of NASCAR, and the distant, happy sound of her grandma humming. Normal. Everything was normal down there. She was rinsing the suds from her hot pink hair, eyes squeezed shut, when she heard it over the drumming water. A soft, furtive creak from the bathroom door, then a muffled thud. Her eyes snapped open. She yanked the shower curtain back. Nothing. The door was closed. "Grandma?" she called out, her voice trembling. "Is that you?" The house creaked around her. Then, from downstairs, her grandma's voice. "Cookies are done. Donnie says that's great. Go see if Ashley wants some." A moment later, Joyce's heavy footsteps began to creak their way up the stairs. "Hey, Ashley, you want some cookies?" Ashley didn't answer. She bent down, fumbling for the loofah on the shower floor, her mind singularly focused on finishing, on getting out. Her fingers finally closed around the slick plastic mesh. The moment she had it, an impossible cold wrapped around her from behind, a crushing pressure that choked the scream in her throat before it could begin. There was no splash, no struggle. The loofah fell from her limp fingers, landing with a soft, wet thud. And then Ashley was gone. As if a switch had been flipped, she began to vanish. The photos on the mantelpiece, Ashley at Christmas, Ashley on a tire swing, faded to blank scenery. The jacket she'd left on a chair evaporated. The toothbrush, the clothes on the floor, the books on her desk, all winked out of existence. Joyce was halfway up the stairs, a plate of warm cookies in her hand, when she stopped. A frown stitched its way across her forehead. She looked around, a dizzying sense of confusion washing over her. "Now why was I coming up here again?" she mumbled. The bathroom door was ajar, steam pouring out like breath. "Donnie, did you take a shower?" she called, her voice holding only a mild, dreamlike curiosity. "No, Joyce, I've been watching this damn race." Grandpa Donnie's voice boomed from the living room. "Maybe you forgot you turned it on." "You're always doing that." Joyce nodded, the explanation settling easily into the space her memory had occupied. "Yes, that must be it," she said softly. She walked to the bathroom, turned off the still-running shower, and headed back downstairs, the plate still in her hand. The roaring engines from the TV filled the silence. As she sat next to Donnie, a strange, fleeting melancholy passed over her, like the shadow of a cloud on a sunny day. "What's wrong, Joyce?" Donnie asked, glancing away from the screen as he sensed the shift in her. "You look like you just saw a ghost." Joyce shook her head, trying to pin down the feeling. "It's just strange. I don't remember turning the shower on. And I can't shake this feeling that I was supposed to be doing something else. For the life of me, I can't remember what." Donnie chuckled, grabbing a cookie. "Well, you're just getting old, Joyce. Your memory ran off with your hearing aids," he teased. "Watch it, old man," she shot back, the familiar banter a comforting balm. "You're older than me by a good 5 years." The moment passed, the shadow was gone, and upstairs in the empty, silent house, it was as if Ashley had never been born at all,